is rampant. Death makes media headlights. Killers make history. Fingers are pointed, desensitized people. This is our culture of violence. Yesterday, after a rather hectic drive, I found myself with a bit of time to waste until my next appointment, so I decided to pull into the park not too far from the freeway. It was quite a beautiful park, with lakes and plenty of full-grown trees. It was the type of park that would make a squirrel attend church on Sunday, for he would have believed it was heaven at the first sight of the park. So I thought. Just that morning, my editor had returned several chapters of my current work in progress. Eagerly awaiting it, I decided to spend my time reviewing it in the car as I wait. With my highlighter in one hand and my pages in another, I suddenly had to pause. For some reason, I felt compelled to look out my side window, to an area of grass near the restrooms. I'm not certain why, but my eyes cast their vision to the grass, and I couldn't believe what I saw. How can a man sleep like that? Was my first thought when I saw a rather tall man with corduroy pants laying face down in the tall grass. The angle in which his feet rested just didn't look natural. His arms were tucked to his sides. Dare I ask, is the man dead? No, of course not. It's the middle of the day. He had to be sleeping. He just had a rather peculiar way of sleeping in a park, face down, with... Okay, now what? Do I call the police? Just as I was about to get out of my car, a woman jogged up by and noticed the man lying there lifeless. She tapped his shoulder, gaining no response. I watched as she returned to her car, footsteps away, and grabbed her cell phone. I was certain it was to call the police. She paced by the man as she spoke on the phone. She went as far to remove the man's wallet, presumably, and search for his ID. She ended her call and returned to her car once again and to fetch a newspaper, in which she laid it over him and left. Desensitized America. People live, therefore they must die. We sit at home and ask ourselves why. And yet we continue to tell ourselves lies. I suddenly had little interest in my editing my pages, as which this fascinating scene unfold. Dozens of people saunter through the parking lot on their way to fish or play tennis, any number of activities. Yet there lay a corpse, only footsteps away. 3 parking spaces away, a man cleaned out his car, all while the music was cranked up. We fight during the day, but dream at night. Dreams so real they would give God himself fright. We realize its memory, a familiar sight. We wish that when we had seen the light, the music quieted, and the man cleaning out his car left. Thankfully. As he drove away, his car skidded through a pile of tiny flowers. The flowers rushed skyward, then softly fell to the earth. One of my editors from work, with blue hair and a tongue stud, says that America is for him a maximum security prison, whose walls are made of Radio Shacks and Burger Kings and MTV episodes, where you can tell the show, you can't tell the show, from the commercials. Buried alive, captured and suffocated in the folds of thick satin quilt America. And then I remembered when I stabbed my father in a dream last night. It was not blood, but money that gushed out of him. Bright green dollar bills spilling from his wounds, and this was the weird part. He gasped. Thank God. Those Ben Franklins were clogging up my heart, and so I perish happily, freed from what which kept me from my liberty. Which was when I knew it was a dream, since my dad would never speak in rhymed couplets. And then I looked at the student with the acne, and the cell phone, and the phony ghetto clothes, and I think, am I asleep in America too? And I don't know how to wake myself up either. I was listening to the cries of the past when I should have been listening to the cries of the future. A rather ridiculous laughter came from above my car. I poked my head out from my window to see 2 red-headed woodpeckers enjoying a meal from a palm tree. Didn't they know what happened? Didn't anyone notice what happened? A man was dead. Didn't they care? Then I realized something about myself. I didn't really care. It was simply watching the event unfold before me with more of a morbid curiosity. At first I felt slightly ashamed for my realization, but it's no wonder those I saw around me, and even myself, felt little compassion for this man. There's something so sick about this emotional capacity. Before breakfast, we plant atomic bombs in our neighborhood yards. Haven't you noticed how much gardens look like graveyards? My cereal, ceiling, bathroom, kitchen, and sink all say made in China. This homeland is looking more like that land. I'm wondering when I'll wake up with a barcode. Will it be on my eyelids? My arms? My soul? Daily we are bombarded with horrible stories of death and tragedies with very little we can do about it. On occasion we honor our heroes, the man who stopped a girl from being raped, a robber who broke into the wrong house and met the business end of a sheriff's rifle. Stories that make you want to cheer. But there are so few, for violence is rampant. Death makes media headlights. Killers make history. Fingers are pointed. Desensitized people. This is our culture of violence. Today a woman cries alone in her room. She found out she's pregnant and has no groom. She looks ahead and sees her doom. She pulls the trigger. The gun sounds. Boom. Rise up against me. Talk out of place. I will destroy you, your family, your place. You are just one more I've impaled. I take pleasure from your pain. 80,000 dead. Now go and shoot up the schools. Kill innocent people like there's nothing to lose. Let's look at this problem. See it for what it is. Violence has been normalized. Indifference to death. Shots ring out. Who cares? One more is dead. Violence is rampant. Death makes media headlights. Killers make history. Fingers are pointed. Desensitized people. My brothers both went to war. It's not Walmart, but it's open 24/7, checkout through heaven, and I don't think they're coming home. What this world needs, more appropriately, the USA, are more heroes. If we stopped making rock stars out of criminals and focus on the good for once, then maybe we could all start caring again and not be so desensitized to what could be considered a disturbing situation. Will tomorrow be like today? Will our stars begin to fade away? Will our hearts continue to stray? Or can we find another way? Imagine all the people living life for peace. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one.